Okay, hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Oh yeah, previously I've done tutorials on XCAM, K-Layout, the open source toolchain for chip design, and alas, we are back to those types of videos, this time for a different purpose, um, for my school club. Yeah, I'll be making a quick layout tutorial today. Fun fact, this is the first YouTube tutorial that I have filmed in my pajamas. Not my sweater, per se, but my pajama pants, actually. See, like, yeah. Um, okay, anyway, I'm just waffling at this point. Let's get into the content. Before we do that, just a quick, I guess, summary of what I intend to cover. So the main goal is going from schematic to layout. And this will be a two-part series. Particularly in this video, we are going to cover two forms of layout generation to begin. One, which is just manually placing your P cells from your schematic, and the second, which is using just a very bare bones script that I've made to automatically generate your P cells. Yeah, and then we'll be doing this with an example circuit where we'll also do some routing. So we'll do the entire place and route pipeline, if you will. And yeah, in the next video, we'll go over good layout techniques, specifically for matching and some of the art behind the layout. But this video should be like nothing to something, and then the next video will be more like advanced techniques, completely optional. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this. Yeah, so suppose maybe that we have, oh, okay, that was not, one second. So I have here just an example circuit of some RF NMOSs from the SG13 G2 PDK. And specifically, I've chosen different parameters for each one. So this is a default size. This one has a bigger width and a bigger length as well. This one has just a bigger width, not a bigger length. And then this one has some fingers. So just a good variety here. And you could, of course, this is going to be your circuit schematic for whatever you're trying to lay out. And yeah, I mean, you can have some wiring here, but really for the layout process, this wiring does not matter until we start to get into LVS, which I'm not going to cover in this video. Perhaps in the next video I'll cover LVS and DRC, or maybe I'll cover DRC in this video. But okay, yeah. Either way, you have your devices in your schematic, and the goal is to generate a layout with these devices. Now, I'm going to start by showing you sort of the traditional way that this is done, and I'll keep this guy open here. So, okay, yeah, we're going to be using K layouts, and just, I mean, X11 has this weird quartz bug. Okay, so we'll start with a fresh layout. If you don't see this SG13 CMOS, I guess, option here in the menu, something's wrong with your K-layout configuration. If you're working in the Docker container, this should not happen. It shouldn't be the case. But if it is, just Google it. I'm sure you'll find a fix. Regardless of that, if you have this, then in your technology button over here, you should have SG13 as an option. Specifically, we're using 5L for this tape out, so that's what I've selected. But make sure that this is also selected. But anyway, when you make your layout, you should have this option for whatever PDK you're using, and for the database unit as well. Now, I mean, the default option is good. I just personal preference like to use 5 nanometers instead of 1, but it's really up to you. And we're gonna open this new layout here, and maybe I can make this guy a bit bigger and make this guy a bit smaller without him bugging out. Nope, he's gonna bug out. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've got this guy going on here. So like I mentioned, we just have some NMOSs here. Specifically, RF mode is 1, so these are RF NMOSs. Now, like I mentioned, the first method of layout that I'm going to go over here is manually placing your P cells. So what are P cells? It's just a parameterized cell, right? It automatically generates the layout with some parameters of the PDK devices, right? So, the PDK comes with whatever devices, specifically these guys. NMOSs, MOS caps, polyresistors, PMOSs, BJTs, what else? Diodes, things of this nature. And they have associated layouts that are specifically, uh, have the best performance or parasitics or whatever the fab has chosen. So to find these guys, you just click on instance, and in the library, you should have an option for SG13 dev. Now, yeah, once you've selected this, again, this should be showing up, assuming that you have no errors. Oops, you have no errors when you open KLayout, and that you have this technology selected. Anyway, you'll go to your cells here, and you'll find your devices. So you essentially just do this for every single PDK device in your schematic. So I have 4 NMOSs here, so I'll first find an RF NMOS. I'll create an instance of it. Okay, someone showed me a command to like get around this. Oh, I got it. Let's go. And then I think Shift E maybe. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna select this. Okay, good enough. Okay, so yeah, we've placed this piece on here, and I think this is min size or default size. I'm not entirely sure which one. It's one of the two. Either way, to change the parameters, you just you'll select it and you'll hit Q. It's the same keybind as in Virtuoso. And okay, yeah, so this is the default size here. And what you'll do is for each device, you'll place one of these down, and you'll look at your parameters here in your schematic. For example, maybe I'll do this bottom left FET M2. And I'll set my width to 10 micro, and I'll set my length to be, oh my god, the X-Coordinates issue. I'll set my length to be maybe 2 micro, and the number of gates is 1. Yeah, okay. So yeah, and then boom, it regenerates the layout of that piece cell, and this is what that FET looks like. I'll go out over more nuanced layout techniques in the next video, but for all the NMOSs, you don't necessarily need a guard ring, at least as far as I know so far on this PDK. I haven't done a bunch of layout on SG13 yet. But of course, general rule of thumb is that you have some type of substrate tap on one of the NMOSs or near your NMOSs, and that covers some general area, and as long as your other MOSs are in that area, then you don't need to center or to guard ring all of them. Although guard rings are good for other purposes besides just substrate tap. But anyway, yeah. So this is our device. Like I mentioned, we'll just copy him, and we'll change whatever parameters that we have in the schematic here. So for example, I think one of them was just default size, which is something like this, I think. Let me triple check. Yep, okay. And then one of them was a 10 micro with 0.72 micro length. And then this last guy was this, same length, but then he had 4 gates. Also keep in mind that on this PDK, specifically, there you go. Yeah, on this PDK specifically, there's a difference between NF and NG. This PDK uses NG. So if you have a specified width and you set your NG to some integer, the actual width of each finger is NG, or sorry, it's the width divided by NG. And in some PDKs it's NF, and actually the total width of the FET is the defined width times NF. So yeah, just something to pay attention to. But that is how SG13 treats gates / fingers in terms of the PDK devices, at least. Okay. Yeah, so now we've got some devices here. And, I mean, this isn't necessarily a good layout. It's just a layout, that's for sure. I'm going to also try to show all my layers here. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so we've got the four devices. Also, another thing just to keep in mind is we have these cells here on the side. These are one for each device. You can see here, and we can also use these cells to create hierarchy, just like we can in schematic capture, right? So in schematic capture, you make some schematic, you make a symbol for it, and you just use that symbol repeatedly to save time and to make your schematics bearable to look at. And you can actually do something similar with layout as well. So I can make this thing its own cell, and you don't make a symbol for it, but you can replicate it in other layouts as well. So yeah, okay, this is the default way of placing down devices. Now, if you want to use the script that I have made for our tape out specifically, you're going to want to netlist your schematic. So just hit netlist. If you have warnings, you shouldn't have warnings because you've done your routing. I haven't done any actual routing here or wiring, but it's going to generate the netlist regardless. Okay, and yeah, can we close this? Okay, so when you generate that, I should probably save this as well before I do this, or save this as layout manual. Yeah, so it's going to generate this file in simulations. You'll see it here. It's called test.spice, and we'll just move that guy to here. Yes, and then you can delete this folder. It doesn't really matter. I'm just telling you that, like, essentially wherever your schematic is, for example, test.schematic, it creates a directory for the netlist. It doesn't go in the same directory. So anyway, you'll generate this this Spice netlist, and I'll show you what that looks like. In case you're not familiar with Spice, but hopefully you are. You have something that looks like this. And to use the actual script here, you'll open KLayout again. Hopefully, there you go. And I've developed this macro. Hopefully it works first try, although we know how that's going to go. And yeah, so to access it, once you open this macro development window, actually probably you should make a new layout first. Let me specify that first. Yeah, so make a new layout with the right PDK, then open macros, and go here and just hit add location, and navigate to our tools folder in our repository here, and just choose this guy. And in here you'll see this Spice to GDS Python macro, SB2GDS. I have not tested it with the 5L variant of the PDK. I'm hoping that it works. We're about to find out right now. If it doesn't, the video is going to cut. You'll notice a cut, and I'm going to get it working and then start filming a video again. So let's see. All right. Okay, now it's working. So you'll know it's working when everything turns green, meaning good, and you get this choose netlist thing popping up here. And so you'll choose this Spice file that we just made, and you'll hit open, and okay, yeah. So if it did its job correctly, you should see this done and attempted placements for. Now yeah, this number should match the number of devices in your PDK devices in your schematic, and as of right now, I think it only looks for certain devices that I support in this file. So it's going to be these ones specifically. So NMOS, PMOS, RF NMOS, RF PMOS, HV models, and then the RF MOS on base. And then I think there's some additional ones as well. There should be resistors, maybe. I'm not sure. Try and find out. One other comment I wanted to make is that if you do get warnings or errors when you run the script, just remember that if you see warnings and errors in software, they're never true. So you just hit the ignore button a bunch of times, and sometimes it still generates. If not, ping me on Discord or something. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. What was I thinking? Oh yeah. Okay. So now you'll see here that. Okay. Yes. Now we see that it's actually generating all the devices correctly, and I'll put them side by side for just to make sure, so you can compare this layout to the one that we generated by hand, and you can confirm that yes, indeed, we have our devices here essentially as desired, of course. So I'm going to save this as just layout automatic, not manual, and okay. Yeah, so the next thing you want to do, of course, is run DRC. Maybe half as often as you save run DRC, depending on how time intensive it is for you. But in general, it's really not, it doesn't take too long to run the DRC, and it's pretty good because you'll catch errors very fast. You can see this, this layout specifically is clean. Yeah, there's no errors, which is awesome. Okay, yeah, ignore. Yeah, okay, so thank you for watching this very basic tutorial. I think I have a tutorial already that's posted on my YouTube channel that's very similar to this anyway, but this is the new and quote-unquote improved version of it. In the next video, we're going to design and lay out an actual circuit, and in this process, I'm going to cover the basics of matching techniques, dummy devices, and just other good layout techniques in general that we should be following for analog mixed signal or active RF devices, and how to fight parasitics and maximize our EMX or electromagnetic extraction outputs of those simulations. So yeah, stay tuned for that video coming hopefully within the next 24 hours, but no guarantees. Sorry.